Another day in the NBA here, another week in the NBA. In fact, the work begins, it always does here on the Splash Play channel. We're going to dig in and compare my projections to some of the industry leaders out there, in particular our friends over at Stokastic. We'll see who the top plays are, who the top value plays are. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. We'll go game by game as well, checking out the expected ownership along the way. Where's your chalk? Where are your leverage spots? We'll hop over to Stokastic and run a sim without my interference. I'll do a hand build. And by the end of this video, guys, you're going to know all the industry's must plays along with my splash plays for today's December 29th. Oh gosh, NBA slate. Let's get into it. I hope it was a good weekend for you guys. Hope it's a good holiday. We got news coming as the show's gone. Shout out Georgia for joining the channel here, being a VIP too. Appreciate that. Trae Young ruled out as well, so that's going to change things around a lot for the Hawks. Of course, what wouldn't be a splash play show if we couldn't get guys ruled out right as the show's about to begin. But the spot today where the Hawks playing in OKC against the Thunder. Not a situation that looks particularly good for them today because you already have Jalen Johnson ruled out. No Porzingis, seems like, with Trae Young also getting ruled out. I believe he had like a quad bruise or something like that. You are going to get the second tier gang. You'll get all the usage that guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker can handle. Şengün also ruled out. So fuck. All right, well that's gonna be some curveballs for the day to hear. But yeah, well, real fast, I'll pull up the Underdog Twitter handle here because change it in real time with these 15-minute reports. It used to be every hour, so I'd be safe for at least a half hour for some of the news breaking. But Trae Young ruled out. Şengün ruled out. And then we got Underdog talk about the all-star fan vote takeaways. Ben Shepherd ruled out. I think we knew that. Anything else? Josh Giddey available to play. Yeehaw. All right, nothing else new. So that's two big ones breaking right as we start the show. Fun, fun, fun. Oh, I'm not reading that. I already make enough enemies on here. Also, real fast, we're gonna hop into the projections here. 1 second. I just want to quickly put a bow on it because you guys been seeing the battle, the struggle here on stream. But I mentioned on the NFL channel, I'm gonna keep it members only mode pretty much. I would say 90% of the time here on the channel. I do plan to have occasional days where I'm gonna open the chat up. Anybody can do it. But for right now, to keep myself enthusiastic and fresh, especially at this time of year, like part of what set me off last week is like doing content on a holiday and getting troll stuff. It's just like, it makes me think, like, is this worth the time? But hearing from you guys, a lot of you guys have been really extra positive, I think, to keep my morale up, which I appreciate. A lot of my focus here is just making sure I'm fresh and enthusiastic for you guys. And again, especially the post-live viewers, like, you know, those guys, we gotta have thousands of people watching this video, my NFL videos as well. So trying to do the best I can to keep myself happy and motivated every day. And some of that is just having the regulars in here, the guys who are paying memberships, because I know if you're paying for a membership, you're not getting trolls. An old forum that I used to love, Something Awful, would do that. I also need to switch to the basketball. Hold on, wait. There we go. Old forum I used to be, I didn't really post on there, but I would read the stuff and I felt like the quality of content was better as well. And, and for me, it's really, again, just about protecting your joy of things. And I think a lot of people should be more mindful of that in everything they do. But again, I appreciate everybody who has chimed in. I know in the NFL channel, I heard from some of the guys already. But, want to say it out loud here so you guys know I do appreciate a lot of the free, good chatters, because there were a lot of you and are a lot of you, and you guys can all comment after the fact. I'll still reply to you as I always have. But the live chat, just keeping it members only for the most part nowadays, because it's going to make it easier to do you guys the service that I hopefully provide here. But speaking of top protected plays here, now the business is out of the way. Now we can have some fun. Fuck me. We got Nikola Jokic, 13K salary. He's priced all the way back up. We have Aaron Gordon still out. Christian Brown still out. Cam Johnson now added to that group of secondary pieces that are not getting their shots up. I think for Nikola Jokic here, the 13K salary has been a thing where I've been willing to pay it before because the projections, I think, are still close enough here. Today with Jokic, 70.7 fantasy points for me. Stokastic has him even higher at 71.9 fantasy points. Jokic seems like a play the field's going to get to. So large portion of the field going to be looking for value to get to afford Jokic here at that 13K salary, but 28% ownership expected. I was getting him at 47. The biggest issue at center day is that you have Jokic, you have Towns, you also have Moussa Diabate, who still looks good to me. Stokastic data, not so much. I think they're not viewing him as quite as good of a value play. But Jokic and Towns, two great options at center, and it's a little bit hard to afford them both. That's going to keep both their ownership in check. They both are pretty strong plays. And I appreciate these chats here from Fishula, Smart Move. It's weirdo season. Appreciate the focus Spags. Like I'm trying the best I can, especially when we have like 10 game slates and stuff. It's just hard, to have it on both sides. So hopefully you will get the best version of me. And if not, then I guess we have to have people poking me with sticks That'll make me do better content. We'll find out though. I think the views are and the likes and all that are telling me that I'm on the right path. But I know for some people they get mad that they can't participate, and it's not classism. I promise that. It's just more not getting weirdos is really the thing. Towns at number 2. So Towns, 2 big things going for him today. You have no Josh Hart. You have no Mitchell Robinson. So those are 2 of the big things that pull away some of the peripheral rates from Towns. Towns overall with these guys off the court has averaged 1.5 fantasy points a minute this year, 555 possessions. So pretty good sample size here. For comparison, Jalen Brunson has underperformed with Hart and Mitchell Robinson off the court. Not quite sure why that would be, but he has played at a 1.2 fantasy point per minute pace. Also shot a lot worse. That's probably could just be unlucky shooting at 54.4% true shooting. But Cat's been an elite producer with these guys off the court. And my assumption, seeing that, because he does get an increase in usage and rebounding and assists, he just has the ball in his hands more from having, the offense consolidate more around those 2 guys, but also just not having another big man to run screens with, to run pick and rolls with. But also Cat himself gaining a few more rebounds, getting to play a true 5 as opposed to 4 or 5 that he has to play for whatever amount of minutes he and Mitchell Robinson share. So Cat at 8,900, 50.4 projection for me. Stokastic a little bit lower at 47.5. No matter what, though, he's a well-projected play. You make the case dead even with Jokic, I think, based on the value metrics. But the field's at 30% for Towns. I'm getting 47 of him as well. Again, Jokic and Towns, if you could afford them, both doing a good job. Hard slate, put a baseline before the you put your baseline lineups in. I think you said you wanted to play Giannis and Jokic together, which I don't think is remotely possible on the slate, but we'll see when you get there. Giannis 2 low minutes, but I appreciate Georgia here thinking more and trying to participate. So check out the stuff that he put into the Discord if you guys are members on there. Jalen Brunson. Actually, no, SGA before him, 10-3 salary for OKC. Match against Atlanta, you are now getting a pretty depreciated Atlanta team. Certainly a team as well against Atlanta normally. Not quite Washington tier. We want to beat them up, kind of bad defense, but still not a particularly good defense either, giving up 117 points per 100 possessions towards that bottom part of the league. Today, OKC with 126.5 implied points. The big thing for SGA, maybe he goes nuts in whatever amount of time he's going to play. Hard to imagine him playing into the 4th quarter here. Playing against his cousin. So I guess maybe that's something that gets him going with Nickeil Alexander-Walker on the other side. But even then, I really don't see the 4th quarter play here. The total in this one was already 16.5 points favoring OKC. And that was with Trae Young, Q-Tag, markets, I'm sure, assume that he would play to some extent. If I had to guess, we're going to get the line down closer to 18.5, 19. I don't see it for, the Hawks hanging in there, but the markets won't either. So if you want to play SGA, I would say playing him stacked up with Hawks, probably the way to do that. Field's 10% ownership for SGA. I'm getting 5. Jalen Brunson, my projection a little bit lower here because he's not really getting the rate uptick for having Hart and Mitchell Robinson off as much as Towns is. But that said, Brunson 9,400. I have him at a 47.3 projection. Stokastic has him at 48.5. That's worth 10% ownership in Stokastic's data. I'm getting 7, so not a total blank out play that I'm straight fading or anything. But I think in this spot, he gains not enough from Hart is really the big thing. But, theoretically, he just will shoot better than those underlying rates are, with him only putting up 54% true shooting with those guys off the court. So if you want to buy that as a reason to play him more, being due for positive regression, you can. But Brunson, I think a little expensive too. But it's a good total today. The 246.5 combined for the Knicks and Pelicans. It's a high total, so certainly if Towns fails, I would say then Brunson, higher chance that he maybe got more usage and started to get hot with the shooting, like he seems to be due for. Giannis, again, I don't think can play at 11K. Minutes being limited. You also do have Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins now with some amount of role. Portis Jr. as well, some amount of role that's going to be left behind from them getting some more shots up with Giannis off the court. Really think that I'd rather find the money to get to Jokic if you can. I'd rather pay down and get to Towns. At power forward, you don't really have a pivot now with Şengün off the slate, so I guess that's one thing here. You could go down to Barnes, but Giannis, I don't see it here. My projection is also a little bit lower at 46.8. Stokastic has meant 49.4. But the ownership only at 1% in Stokastic's data. I'm at 0. I guess your hope would be that he gets the sudden spike in minutes like Wemby had recently. Maybe the tomahawk dunk controversy leads him to get more shots up and really put it down today. But for Giannis here, I think you have a lot of stuff going against them. And as much as like the guys who filled in without him now kind of have real roles for themselves, that takes usage away from Giannis. And number two is that it's just not a great total going against Charlotte here. 227.5. We're talking about so much lower than what we just talked about that Knicks total. So for Giannis, limited minutes, not a great total. Not a high pace spot either. A little bit tough for Giannis to me. We're saying, oh, fuck the Bucks. That's a strong stand against the Bucks, but I agree. They're not really priced for what the situation is for any of them right now. Ryan Rollins started that last game, played the best out of he and Kevin Porter Jr. as well, or the better out of those two. But he did a lot in that game. It's hard to get a read in the rotation. And then Giannis at some point you would think starts to really take more possessions away, but maybe not, because like part of what I think his situation is right now is like he has to defer to these guys a little bit more because he's either stuck with them and they're the best hand he has and he needs to build their confidence, or like he's not going to be there long term and he knows that, which you could kind of read his quotes lately either way. But I just don't think like Rollins and Porter Jr. and Portis and Turner's not doing anything out there. Kuzma, I don't think they're going to stop shooting. Like I just don't see it. Jamal Murray, again, another guy getting a rate uptick here, opportunity uptick because of the fact that you do have the key secondary pieces for the Nuggets out. Again, no Aaron Gordon still, no Brown still, Cameron Johnson out now the last couple games as well. But for Jamal Murray, my projection is about 2 fantasy points lower than Stokastic. I'm still getting him in 40% of my lineups. Stokastic has him at 34%. So Jamal Murray, strong play at 8,500, definitely a little bit underpriced. And for Denver today, they are getting, again, a pretty big total going against Miami, 244.5 implied points. The big pace up going against Miami's high-paced offense, even though the defense is still pretty strong, giving up only 112 points per 100. But Jamal Murray, it's really just a two-man offense at this point with, Peyton Watson, Tim Hardaway Jr. Doing a little bit, and that's really it. And J Val, when he's on there too, like he'll do his Joe Val stuff. But I think for Jamal Murray, strong play here, nice projection, even though a little bit lower. If you play Giannis, you have to play Portis. They have to act as, I don't think this is the way to approach things, Georgia. I appreciate your concept here, but those players pull away from each other directly. Like they don't combine for one projection. And with Giannis at that salary, like you really want to see, I think at least a 50 fantasy point projection, ideally 55 or so. It's just the math of knowing where value is. Like NBA DFS, not something I think to get that cute with in the way you might for NFL, but follow your heart. It's your money. But if you're following my data, I just don't think you're going to get plays like that often. Victor Wembanyama here, 10K salary. Minutes went up for him last game, picked up the start as well. Kind of sudden surprise spike in minutes, given how they had just given a strong quote about how they weren't going to increase his minutes too much in the near term. But they did boost him up a little bit. 10K salary for Wemby, getting more reasonable. But the Spurs full strength with Fox, Castle, Harper all in. Obviously the secondary wing pieces too that could sometimes spike like Vassell. They're all still in too. I think it's a great spot to get to Wemby either at a 10K salary. To me, like Jokic, despite being so expensive, he's priced a little bit cheaper than he should be. Giannis, Wemby, with where they are priced right now, not where they should be relative to the minutes expectation and just what's around them. So I'm cool not being on Wemby, but he could always have a massive upside. Fields there at 3%. I just don't think the projection supports it as a 4.6x value for me. Anthony Edwards, another guy I'm low on here, 9,300. He's really your only pay-up option at shooting guard. We can see up top here. 2% ownership for me. Fields at 10%. Ant's really one of those guys I don't get a ton of on slates. Sometimes if the value opens up, I can get there more. Maybe with Adams opening up as a value play, he might be a guy that I get because I'm probably going to get a little bit less of the expensive centers. But yeah, Ant playing Chicago, obviously a soft enough matchup. Total in this game at 241.5. It's not bad. I think Ant feels like a pivot for lower ownership to if you're in a lineup that's pretty chalky. I don't mind that, but 10% feels like enough. Şengün would have had 2% ownership. Now he's off the slate. Steven Adams priced at 4,500. Not as good of a value as he was the other day when Şengün got ruled out, but still will come up as a value option for sure. But Şengün going to make Issa look like a better play. Going to really make everybody look like a better play. But Adams is a value option. He'll be there. Capella is a second tier value option. He will also be there. But Şengün being out, just one less good player to play tonight. Michael Porter Jr. still have him at 44.5 fantasy points. Stokastic is at 41. We did see Cam Thomas return to the lineup here, put up, I think, 30 points in like 20 minutes or something like that. Porter Jr. definitely is going to lose usage when they share more minutes together. For now, though, Porter Jr. at 8,400, I'm willing to buy in on the fact that he has been about a 1.3 fantasy point per minute guy this entire year, which does include some time with Cam Thomas, but also, a lot of time without him. Porter Jr. has been shooting well, playing well, rebounding well. I've talked about it on stream enough, but if you're new to the show, I like to play guys when the season's showing them running hot. My data favors how guys are playing this year as opposed to just fully relying on the longer term sample size and keeping it all very flat. But certainly Cam Thomas coming back in here, he's holding a 34% usage rate on the year so far. He's going to get shots up. At a certain point, it's going to hurt Porter Jr. For right now, though, going against the Golden State team that I think I'm questioning the motivation a little bit on their side. I think it's a good spot to go to Porter Jr. here at home as well. And also a game too, where they are only a 5.5 point dog. Like it's not like, Golden State's a heavy favorite here. Porter Jr. shooting well in this game could be a reason to keep them in it. And Steph Curry was wishy-washy on playing on a back-to-back. Seemingly going to play today at 9K salary. He and Butler are both trending towards playing. Butler's probable. Steph Curry's on the injury report at all, so he's just expected to go. 2% ownership. I'm at 2. Certainly Brooklyn, the kind of team, not a high-paced, not a great defense. Can be the spot where Steph gets going. They are allowing 37.2% shooting from 3, which is above league average. But they do play slow. They should be able to get guys in front of Steph enough. I don't see going there too much, but he's low owned. Again, you got low owned guys in the slate. Steph Curry, if you really want to go Giannis, SGA, Brunson, like these are your low owned options. Wemby, your low owned options. We're going to go sort by value here, guys. So let's do that part now. And before we go through all the best value plays of right now, which again is going to move because the data, guys got ruled out literally as we started the show. Lucky me. Before we do that, guys, one last ask, or one, I say last, there's going to be more. One ask, though, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. It does go a long way for me and any creators you enjoy on YouTube because basically it shows YouTube that you guys care and that maybe people that are like you want to see the videos. And it's a big way of being able to keep growing the channel is you guys hitting that like button and subscribing at a good rate. But I'm, of course, here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. whenever there are NBA slates going on. I don't know what the NBA schedule is this week. We could, I guess, find that out on stream. But I might not be here for one of the New Year's days, whatever, because if Luke is home, that's going to fuck my stuff up. But I'll do the best I can to show up here back in a normal schedule next week, no matter what. Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. doing the same work. Of course, comparing data, all that stuff. Check out Stokastic too, 15% off promo code SPLASH, link down below. Big way to support the show. Half the money you pay to them comes back to me. And for you, you get 15% off all the cheap packages, all the expensive packages, whatever you want on there. Multi-sport stuff too. It's all 15% off. So click that link down below and make sure to use that promo code SPLASH. And last but not least, join the channel here. $5 to join as a supporter here. Get into the live chat. Or if you want to get my data, join one of the Squirt Squad tiers. For a lot of you guys out there, I would say the Squirt Squad tier is the best one because you get to see all of my matchup stuff updated throughout the night. But if you want to use exportable projections and you know how to use CSVs and whatever optimizer you're using, then use the VIP tier. But advanced people only is what I'd recommend on there because, there's been issues and I don't want to be, I don't want to leave anybody in the lurch. All right. Top value plays, and it's going to get better with Trae Young getting ruled out, but Mo Gay, 3K minimum salary, power forward center. People like Austin Newell on the slate. I get that as well. He's going to get a little bit better in the projection too, but really not guaranteed as many minutes on paper as Mo Gay is. Whoever starts here is going to be really important. Unfortunately, for the Atlanta OKC game, this is one of our later starts. We have a bunch of games going at 8 o'clock. We have 5 games going between 7 and 7:30. Really only one at, 2 at 7, 3 at 7:30, 5 at 8. So we need to know that Atlanta's starting lineup. If Newell starts, he's going to be the better play on paper. If Mo Gay is starting, which I think will be the data's assumption, he will also be the better player on paper. But really, a lot of usage to go around now. No Jalen Johnson, no Porzingis, no Trae Young. It's going to be Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker getting the first crack at getting shots up. But after that, and to a certain extent as well, Okongwu will definitely get his. But Mo Gay, these other guys, they're all competing for that, that opportunity behind those guys. So it's not going to be as big, but if your minimum salary like Mo Gay, he was already in 25% of lineups. I was getting 31. It's probably going to go up substantially further with no Trae Young now. Moussa Diabate, 5,300, so not quite a value play anymore. My projections, though, are favoring him a good amount today, 32.2 fantasy points. Stokastic has him at 28.7. The ownership now coming down, 12% for Stokastic. I'm getting 43. Adams opening up as a value with no Şengün. I think is going to move that a little bit, where I'll probably get a little bit less Diabate, or at the very least, Steven Adams is going to come in for some amount of my my quadrumvirate of Jokic plus Towns plus Diabate plus now Adams. But those 4 center plays, I think, are all well priced, good situations. And for Diabate, no Kalkbrenner, no Plumlee. Again, he's been playing 30 plus minutes in these spots lately. Diabate has been a 1 fantasy point per minute guy, and the matchup is good enough today. I think for them, I think for Diabate, really good spot overall. And your only risk is that he just maybe fouls a little bit too much going against Giannis. I guess that's it. But if the minutes are there for him, if he doesn't get into crazy foul trouble, I don't see why he wouldn't produce again. Asa Newell. So again, he's going to look a little bit better when Trae Young being out matriculates here into the data. As it is right now, Fields at 6%. I am getting 19. $3,300 salary makes him a little bit less appealing than Mo Gay at a 3K minimum. That said, Asa Newell projects a little bit better. Newell's been at about, I think, a 0.9 fantasy point per minute pace. 0.93 fantasy points per minute is what he's been at. With Trae Young in, I would have found him at 0.98 today. Few blocks, 3% block rate. 71% true shooting pretty well. And that's with not shooting great from the free throw line. So he's definitely due to regress in shooting, and he's not a great rebounder. Only a 10% rebound rate. I mean, look, you're not getting Jalen Johnson 2.0 with either Mo Gay or Asa Newell, but they both have pretty big opportunity. You really want to know who's starting. So I think the big thing would be going into that, set of 8:00 games, just having exposure at high volume to Gay and Newell, and then pivoting more towards whoever starts out of the group, but still having some ownership carved out for whoever's coming off the bench. I think that's how that would go, but you got to know who's starting there. Justin Champagnie, we got no Keyshawn George in today, so Champagnie should be the winner there minutes wise. Also McCollum going to be a big winner in terms of opportunity, getting shots up and all that. But Justin Champagnie here, $4,500 salary, good cross category contributor as well. Gets some rebounds, some assists, some usage, not enough really to feel good about. But Justin Champagnie averaging 0.99 fantasy points a minute. 17% rebound rate. He also does get steals and blocks at a decent clip, especially for a wing. He's going to fill in theoretically well for Keyshawn George. Not as much of a usage guy, but he can do a little bit of everything. So nice value play here. Fields 28%. I'm getting 50. I think that guys like him, one of the hawks between Gay and Newell, if not both, and then Steven Adams probably going to be your top values right now. Vic Krejci, 8% for the field. It's going to go up. I'm getting 20. Again, Trae Young still in the data set right now, but Trae Young being out means more minutes for Krejci, more opportunity. And he's another guy, does a little bit of everything as well. So no issue with Krejci at 3,500. Shooting guard, small forward too, means you get him into a lot of spots. Shout out Squeak Diesel here joining, officially a member. Appreciate that a bunch. And I figure that, the guys who want to be a part of chat now, that you guys will get memberships. And if you don't, no issue. Just hop into the comments. Still happy to chat it up with you guys in there too. Karl-Anthony Towns, still a top value, despite being 8,900. So we've talked enough about him. Again, becomes more of a true, fantasy-friendly center because of not having Josh Harden, not having Mitchell Robinson in. 8,900 just too cheap for a guy that's averaged 1.5 fantasy points a minute in those scenarios. So for Karl-Anthony Towns, think he looks really good, and that's not going to change. Quickly, 6,700. No RJ Barrett, no Jakob Poeltl. Should have Barnes and Ingram in those, so that's not awesome for Quickly. For Quickly, though, 6,700, a little bit too cheap. We got him majorly right the last time we had him on a slate on the show. Today he's facing Orlando, which is not going to be quite as friendly as facing Washington, but I still have him gaining upticks in usage substantially. Gains about 3 points in usage. About 5 points in assists from not having Barrett and Poeltl on the court, and he's been playing like it, so still willing to be team Quickly here, getting 24% ownership, a responsible amount with the field at 10. Dylan Brooks, unfortunately, continues to be one of my guys in my data. He's been playing better this year, putting up about a 30% usage rate with Grayson Allen and Mark Williams off the court. As a result, I'm at a 35.2 projection. Stokastic still showing him some love as well to 33 projection, but only 14% ownership. I am getting 39. I'm hoping that comes down a little bit, but Dylan Brooks is chucking for this Phoenix team that does have a gaping hole because of no Grayson Allen and no Mark Williams, facing Washington as well. So more peripherals should be available too. So we get Daro. Mark Williams out for suspension, fighting Jose Alvarado, and getting rocked too. It looked like Alvarado, as Josh pointed out in the strategy show this morning for Stokastic, a foot smaller, I think 60 pounds lighter. And Mark Williams looked dazed when Alvarado punched him. Maybe he just didn't expect it. But Alvarado, 2 games. Mark Williams, 1 game suspension. So real light, honestly, on both sides. Mark Williams just got punched and embarrassed. So he could have gotten 0, and I think it would have been okay. But Iguodala is going to fill in. You have Nick Richards still playing some center minutes behind him. They can also just go not with a big man too. But Iguodala's 4K. I think Steven Adams will look like the better play, even though he's going to be more expensive. Iguodala at 20% ownership. I was getting 15 because the other center plays look better. But Iguodala definitely going to be a lesser on pivot now with Adams' value likely to be more prominent than Iguodala. And Jalen Smith, power forward center. We have Zach Collins out today. Jalen Smith played 20-plus minutes last game for the Bills with Collins in. So the assumption is you get more secure minutes for Jalen Smith. He's always been a good contributor. At 3,800, there might be better values opening up with that Hawk stuff in particular. But as it is, Jalen Smith as a value guy, he's one of those players we get on slates. Your Jamal Sheds, your Goga Batadze's, guys like that when the salary gets to be a little bit too cheap, these guys are good producers, playing stable roles. But Smith, at this point, power forward center is nice. So you can play him as a value option that's not taking up a center spot. That's the best thing he has going for him. 27% ownership for the field. I got him at 33. Don't think it's going to hold with the value opening up. We're going to go game by game here, guys. Before we do that, again, one more ask. Please make sure to hit that like button. Please subscribe. Very important for shows like mine that you hit that like button, because I'm fighting media companies and stuff. And to your guys' credit, to mine as well. Been getting more views lately than channels like Run Pure, the other one, Ship It. I actually have compared stuff because, not for dick measuring purposes, just to know where I stand and where things line. And, it's really cool to see that Roto Grinders passed a while ago too. So I really do appreciate that. But ultimately the battle's still going on. I'm going to keep fighting until I'm number 1 in this dying DFS space. So please hit that like button and subscribe here. It goes a long way. Stokastic, you guys know the deal. Link down below, or use the promo code SPLASH. You do have to use the promo code there no matter what. Click the link, see all your options, and use that promo code SPLASH to get 15% off. And join the channel. This very screen that you see here on stream, you can get for yourself by joining the Squirt Squad tier. This is the version you see of it. No Stokastic data, but all this stuff updated throughout the night. Expected minutes, my projection, where the value is, PRAs, all that stuff. So if you join the Squirt Squad tier, you get that for yourself. If you join the VIP tier, you get that plus exportable projections. So check it out with the link down below. Join on desktop, though, to save yourself money because the VIG just goes to Apple. All right. You got to compete with DFS Army. I didn't realize that people took that as a dig. It's I just don't think DFS Army has good tools from what I know. It's really the big thing. If people have success with it, more power to them. But, I think there's a reason that, Stokastic, ETR, Saber Sim, Run the Sims now held in some amount of esteem. Even Roto Grinders to some extent, DFS Army, I don't know anything about what they do. So that's the biggest thing. I'll claim I'm an idiot. I don't know what they do, but whatever. All right, there's nothing special, whatever. Maybe look, if they help people win, more power to them. I just, I haven't gotten the greatest vibes, the greatest sense, but whatever. It's not a war. I don't know them. They don't know me probably too, I assume. Milwaukee, 115.5 implied points. First game on the slate. One of 2 kicking off or tipping off at 7 p.m. This one in Phoenix, Washington are 2 7 o'clock games. So we'll know what's going on in both of those ahead of time. But again, nothing looking that good here. We talked about the rotations being a little wonky for Milwaukee before. You also have Giannis in. Ryan Rollins still a 5x value for me, but with Giannis in, really nothing to prioritize. 4% ownership, Fields at 2. He's been playing better with Giannis in. I think the spacing that Giannis creates for him and his ability to play off them has been part of why Ryan Rollins has been good this year in the underlying numbers. Kevin Porter Jr., maybe not so much of a fit with Giannis, kind of disappeared in that game a few times last time out from Milwaukee. But both guys can spike an upside here. Porter Jr., I just don't love the price tag, especially in where he is with Giannis right now. But not playing anything from Milwaukee, so we'll make up some time on it. For Charlotte, you have no Con Knipple. You also only have Moussa Diabate as your big man. PJ Hall played some minutes last game, but not a lot. Tajon Salon is mostly the backup big man when we don't have Moussa Diabate in. For Charlotte, though, I'm only getting Diabate here. It's probably going to come down a little bit because of Steven Adams being a value option with no Alperen Sengun again. But Diabate, Fields getting 12%. I was getting 43. LaMelo Ball, the minutes are still not up enough, but he is an 8K salary, so getting 8% for the field. I was getting 9 before. I think these guys look okay. Not a bad spot for Charlotte going against Milwaukee. But really not enough of a rate uptick with Con Knipple off. The biggest winner based on this seems to be LaMelo Ball. I did give them the rates that they have, with Con Knipple off, and really nobody jumped up that much. So unfortunately, Knipple being off the court, you just have kind of have guys filling in with Miller's usage, Bridges' usage, LaMelo, obviously. Sexton, like they're still mostly, they have enough strength here at this point, even with Knipple not playing, and the bigs. The bigs are all pretty interchangeable. Phoenix 121.5 implied points. Washington 111 here. Again, we got Keyshawn George out. Alex Sarr, some people expected to be out today, but he's going to be in. Maybe minutes limited on a back-to-back potentially. No Middleton as well. No Kispert for Washington on their side. Phoenix, you have no Grayson Allen. As a result, Gillespie looking pretty good. I was getting 27%, Fields 21. My Booker projection's really low because of the fact that he has not increased his rates with Grayson Allen and Mark Williams off the court. B, because we do have guys that have increased their rates, like Dylan Brooks, like Gillespie, with those guys off. Booker's role just hasn't been that impressive to me. He's averaging only 1.19 fantasy points a minute. I'm for 1.22 today. Like, he can go off versus Washington. You have a lot of ownership going to these other guys, but I don't think Booker's taken enough usage, really. Like, I'm kind of surprised he doesn't get himself like a 40% usage rate and just chuck more. But he's taken 60% of the possessions when he's on the court between his assists and his usage, but it's just not enough for him to be, to me, the kind of fantasy performer that pops up, night after night. Even against Washington, you got enough guys here that actually get shots up. Gillespie, Brooks in play. I'm not getting a Royce O'Neal, but certainly he gains a little bit in peripherals facing Washington. Jordan Goodwin off the bench has played well lately for me. I get him a lot on slates. I never really feel great about it, but he is playing 20, 25 minutes off the bench, producing 0.95 fantasy points a minute, and also probably due to shoot better at only 51% true shooting on the year. League average, of course, 58 and change. Oso Ighodaro, going to look like a less good play with Steven Adams, going to be starting for Houston now. But Ighodaro, 20% ownership. I was getting 15. We have no Mark Williams, so Ighodaro is the biggest beneficiary there. Nick Richards getting a little bit of ownership too, but it's only because he's 3K minimum. And I guess if you had Ighodaro foul trouble, better shot of minutes going Nick Richards' way. For Washington, 111 implied points here. Getting a lot of CJ McCollum. He really seems to be the big usage winner with having no Keyshawn George. Too many K Georges in the NBA right now. Keyshawn George, my boy. I actually get a lot in slates. I should know his name. He's not playing today. So McCollum have at 37% right now of my top 150. Fields at 15. Again, with the value opening up, not sure if this holds, but I do have McCollum being about a 5.6x value. My projection at 34.8 is higher on McCollum than Stokastic has at 33.6. Justin Champagnie here, getting 50%, Fields at 28. Not a player who I think is going to be a must-have value at 4,500, but he's small forward, power forward, getting that positional flexibility, and a guy who's cheap at 4,500 and produces 1 fantasy point per minute. Always going to be a guy that sneaks into lineups. He was in 50% of mine before the show. Field at 28. Trey Johnson, minutes uptick as well in Stokastic data here, getting him in 17% of lineups. Field is also at 17. But Washington, having no George on the team, does help out a little bit because of the fact that he does get a lot of shots up. And Middleton, too, same thing. Kispert, same thing relatively. Golden State, 115.5 implied. Brooklyn, 110 implied. Don't think there's going to be a lot in this game, so let's make up some time. I've got nothing for Golden State. Kuminga not in the rotation. That sucks. But these guys are now definitely priced for that. Steph Curry, if he went nuts in New York, in Brooklyn, which is still New York, it can happen at 2% ownership. I just don't see the reason to be here for any of these guys today, based on the salaries and the projections. For Brooklyn on their side, getting Michael Porter Jr. at 7%. Still think he looks good, even with Cam Thomas coming back in. Cam Thomas, though, filled it up the last game off the bench, clearly playing to show that he should get money from somebody in the NBA. I don't know if he will, but he's going to chuck when he's out there. Nick Claxton, Fields 10%. I'm getting 4. Nothing here that's special. Day'Ron Sharp a little bit. I think that's probably going to go away because we have better values opening up at center. Denver, 123.5 implied. Miami, 121 implied points. Again, Jokic, easy to afford on the slate at a 13K salary now. But unfortunately, you are going to give up some value center spots to getting Steven Adams in, getting potentially a Diabate in. But Jokic, hard to argue where he is at this point, producing 1.8 fantasy points a minute. I've got him averaging 2 today, accounting for the matchup with Miami, and who's available for Denver. Jokic, always a player I'm happy to get above the field. Right now, I'm getting 47%. The field's at 28. Jamal Murray also looks good, a little bit too cheap at 8,500 with all those guys out, getting 40%. The field's at 34. THJ, I'm going to get 19%. The field's at 18. He's not been a great producer on the year. He'll get a little bit of a rate uptick for no Cam Johnson, no Aaron Gordon, no Christian Brown, but really not enough for me to get there. Tim Hardaway Jr. in your lineup, sure. He looks like an okay play. I don't think he's like a must-have, but shooting guard, small forward, 4,500. I think he's got to mix in for sure. Peyton Watson is usually the one that my data favors, but not so much today for whatever reason. Miami, 121 implied points. We still have no Tyler Hero, but Bam Adebayo coming back in is not great with these guys' price tags on the way up. Norm Powell, though, still about a 37 fantasy point projection. He does gain a good amount of usage and assist upside with no Hero on the court. Just has the ball in his hands more, basically. But still not a high assist guy because, he is Norm Powell. Khalil Ware now priced more than appropriately at 6,700 with Nikola Jovic in as well and Bam Adebayo. The minutes getting a little bit less good there. As I mentioned before, Wesley, it doesn't have ownership on it because you get this version of it. I am not selling you guys Stokastic's ownership. I'm selling you my data. So that's the reason why. But yeah, basically their projection, their ownership is not on the version that you guys get. It's only on the one on stream. For Khalil Ware, too expensive now. The minutes also not being projected super highly at 25.4. Jaime Jaquez, Pele Larson, these guys all coming down substantially. Davion Mitchell, Wiggins as well. They're all coming down because of the fact that you are getting Bam Adebayo back in. He's not been a great fantasy producer on the year, only 1.16 fantasy points a minute. That is a guy now that's your number 2 producer on the team. That's back in the rotation. So everybody else comes down meaningfully as a result, in addition to losing minutes for some of them. For Orlando, you have no Jalen Suggs. You also have no Franz Wagner here. So these guys now priced for that situation for the most part with a couple games in a row with no Suggs and a bunch in a row with no Franz. As a result, nobody coming up here with Orlando and their 111 implied points. So that's basically it. Toronto also building into a pretty tough defensive matchup. 113.2 points allowed per 100 possessions is actually towards the better part of the league. And Toronto, not a team I think people view as like having a good defense. They're not the Thunder or anything. But they are in that tier right below them. Toronto on their side still looks okay because of not having Barrett and Pirtle in and the price tags not being crazy for it. But Toronto 109.5 implied points means these guys don't have a great total here. For Barnes, Ingram, Quickly, I am above the field on all of them, though the most above the field on Quickly, getting him in 24% of lineups in the field to 10. But certainly I think the matchup's better for Toronto here because of not having some of the guys that are missing. And for Muklashvili, he is now priced fully for what his role is for not having Pirtle in. And you are getting Mo Bamba available for the team, though seemingly Stokastic not giving him minutes yet. But he did sign a deal with the team. It does seem like that might mean an extended absence for Pirtle. But it does mean Muklashvili has now one more guy they could play in lieu of him if they want. Obviously, they seem like Muklashvili more. But Bamba, he's big. He'll look good in practice. Minnesota, 124 implied points. Chicago, 117.5. Nobody here above the field for me, but Edwards at 10, Gobert at 8. Sure. Julius Randle, I'm not really playing him on days where Edwards is in, and Edwards has been in a lot lately. But he's 8,300. At least the price tag's getting to a more reasonable range. Chicago on their side, I don't think the Jalen Smith value is going to open up or is going to hold quite as much because there's better value opening up around him. But he's still a decent projection play, $3,800 salary, 22 projection or so. Kobe White, still a little bit too cheap to me, but frankly, he's been disappointing lately. Josh Giddey definitely has established himself as being a tier above Kobe White in terms of the usage and assist hierarchy. Everything else here, not really coming up. Minutes not too great for Buzelis, not guaranteed by any stretch. If he gets hot, you could do something at 4,800. But that's basically it. They're kind of full strength besides Zach Collins, who's out. Indiana, 103 implied points. Houston, 118.5. The Indiana side, not looking too great. Nembhard has been a guy who's hit for me lately. He does pop up a little bit in my data, about 2.6 fantasy points higher. But at 6,500, he's kind of priced where he should be. So only 2% is where I'm getting right now. Houston with no Şengün, things are going to move a little bit more. Tari Eason's going to come up for me. His minutes are capped at like 25 to 27 or so. The cap could go away at some point, but it does seem like that's where he's going to be for right now. But still gains opportunity from not having Şengün. Şengün is just such a beast in every category. That's going to help out Eason a bit. Steven Adams at 4,500. He's produced about 0.95 fantasy points a minute. He will look like a better play. That said, he certainly doesn't get a lot of shots up, so he needs to get there through rebounds, blocks, maybe a few steals as well. No guarantee that he does that, as has been the case when he was a value play for Şengün the other day. New York, 127.5 implied points. New Orleans, 119 implied points. Towns, the big option here, getting him the most for the rate uptick that he gets for no Hart and no Mitchell Robinson. Again, producing 1.5 fan sports minute with those guys off. But Jalen Brunson going against New Orleans, low pace spot, but a shitty defense. He can go off here. Bridges, Anunoby, not really priced where I'd want him to be. But if Towns fails, they might play better here. Fields at 30% Towns. I'm getting 47. Not sure how to Adams' value will affect that. For New Orleans, and Towns also center only now, not power forward center, which kind of sucks. But, with Mitchell Robinson off, he is really just the center at this point. For New Orleans, 119 implied points, getting Trey Murphy at 11%. I don't really know why. Zion's minutes have been just shy of 30 lately, so he might be getting back to where he was. He also can get injured any moment. I'm not sure if they're going to keep him on the bench forever either, but it's been playing well enough so far. But really for New Orleans, not seeing a lot. That looks great here. But Murphy and Fears, playable. Neither, though, like a priority play, neither a core play. Atlanta's going to look very different here for having no Trae Young, but as it is, Vic Krejci was coming up meaningfully for me. Austin Newell as well. Mo Gay as well. These guys only going to look better with no Jalen Johnson, no Porzingis, now no Trae Young. But they're going to get their ass kicked by OKC most likely. So, you expect Okongwu, Dyson Daniels, Alexander Walker to get the most usage. Everybody always loves Riza Shea in these spots. I don't think he's a great fantasy player, but he'll get more usage up at 3,800. Whoever you want to play from Atlanta, you can, but keep in mind, they're probably going to get blown out by the Thunder, most likely. Thunder on their side, their injury report was not out before the show, so Hartenstein was assumed to not be in. I'm not sure if that's actually the case. Let me see if their injury report came out. Yeah, Hartenstein is out. Jalen Williams, the Y, also out. It's basically it for the key guys. So Hartenstein out here. Nobody really gaining a big uptick for that at this point. But yeah, SGA, if the game stays competitive somehow, he might be okay. Somebody having an outlier day in OKC is possible. The projections really are not there at all. ATL's Cook, 6-game losing streak. Austin Krejci the only way. OKC is going to rest a lot of, I don't think OKC is going to rest anybody, or they would be, on the injury report. But they're going to probably be done early, I would say, most likely. But sometimes the Thunder play down in competition a little bit. And Okongwu is functionally the kind of center that gives them trouble. The long stretch five guys, they've talked about it with Wemby, most recently. I don't think Okongwu's Wemby, but, Naz Reid's given them trouble before. They sometimes run into guys like that. I don't know. I don't think anything's going to happen here, like in terms of an upset, but somehow they keep it competitive. It does make the Thunder a little more playable. And last but not least in the slate, Cleveland, San Antonio, not a lot to love here. There is one more game late, but it's not on the FanDuel or the DraftKings main slate, so I didn't pull the data in for it. I apologize if you care about that. But Cleveland here, not getting a lot, back at full strength. They're priced more than appropriately. But as a late night hammer here, Donovan Mitchell at 7% owned. He always wins slates at this kind of ownership, and being the late night hammer too. But I don't know, not seeing much for Cleveland here. Sam Merrill is a value. He hit recently, and then one guy asked about him in the chat, and he was coming off the bench. I don't really think that was a spot to play Sam Merrill, but his three-point shooting can always get him into a game. So really shooting, I think, unsustainably well at 67% true shooting, but 27-minute projection, shooting guard, small forward. He's cheap, but not like, super value cheap. San Antonio, 123.5 implied points. Nothing popping up for me here with Wemby playing more minutes. Castle, Fox, all healthy. These guys aren't priced for right now. The situation of them all being together and getting minutes. But the total at 123.5 is not bad. Somebody can hit here. It's just you don't really see it based on the projections. Only Keldon Johnson coming up a little bit at 5x value. Fox, Castle, even Vassell, Dylan Harper, they have ceilings at their price tags. They just don't have, median outcomes at their price tags. We're going to go to Stokastic next. We'll see what they have for us. Maybe an update for data. Nope. They still have Trae Young in, but let's see what we have in a sim anyway. We'll run a sim, maybe not do a hand build because the slate's going to look different enough. But of course, Stokastic, their sim products, their cheap packages, all the lineup generator stuff. I don't know if they have that anymore, but they probably do. All the cheap stuff, all the expensive stuff. Check it out down below. Use the promo code SPLASH, 15% off over there. Check it out for yourself. And guys, before we get to the next stage of things running the Stokastic sim, please do hit that like button. Please subscribe. Of course, it does go a long way for me here and any YouTube creators that you enjoy where, they're small, big, whatever, because the like button tells YouTube that this video resonates with you and it shows the people that are like you, and getting impressions is a big part of the battle on YouTube. So please do help me out. Hit that like button and subscribe here if you want to check out the content. Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. We are maybe on a holiday schedule this week. My goal is to do 2 p.m. every day this week, though we have an NBA slate. Actually, check out the schedule while we do this. NBA schedule. I assume they have to be off like New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, right? So while it's simming out, we've got 4 games tomorrow. Bunch of games Wednesday. Thursday, we have games. 6 o'clock start time. I feel like the New Year's Day slate might be the one I might not cover. And Friday, back to normal. So no days off for the NBA. All right. Well, be here most of the days then. We'll figure it out. Your top ROI lineups, though. Again, keeping in mind, Şengün and Trae Young got ruled out after this data was updated, so it's not going to be perfect, but I still try to show you guys what we can here. Because some of these lineups still might be valid. NBA asserting itself as NFL winds down. Yeah, I guess so. Usually the boys like to get a day off here and there, but not the case. CJ McCollum, Trey Johnson, Justin Champagnie. So a lot of Wizards already. Peyton Watson, Moussa Diabate, Jamal Murray, Mo Gay, Nikola Jokic. I like all these guys. You're getting both Nuggets in here along with Peyton Watson as well. Get some of your Hawks value. It's going to move, though. Number 2, McCollum, Tim Hardaway Jr., Justin Champagnie, Royce O'Neal, Moussa Diabate, Jamal Murray, Mo Gay, Nikola Jokic. So all these guys looking like good plays already before getting, Mo Gay in particular, before getting Trae Young ruled out. So that's not going to get any worse for Mo Gay. Number 3, CJ McCollum, Colin Gillespie, Justin Champagnie yet again, Harrison Barnes, Oso Ighodaro, Jamal Murray, Mo Gay, Nikola Jokic. Number 4, Colin Gillespie, Norm Powell, Justin Champagnie. He's in all the top 5. Mo Gay, again, Jonas Valanciunas makes this one along with Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Jalen Smith. So we're looking for value here. Do you think Adams is probably going to pop up a little bit more? Number 5, CJ McCollum, Tim Hardaway Jr., Justin Champagnie again, Dylan Brooks, Oso Ighodaro, Jamal Murray, Mo Gay, and Nikola Jokic. So stars and scrubs, I mean, it seems like they just in particular like Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. I don't even think it's stars and scrubs. It's just Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and McCollum in all of them. Player ROI, but Jokic, definitely the stars part. Mo Gay at 11% ROI. Tari Eason, 5% ROI at number 2. Nikola Jokic at number 4. Justin Champagnie. Nikola Jokic at number 3. Champagnie at number 4. And CJ McCollum at number 5, tied with Jamal Murray. This is exactly what we just saw in the top ROI lineups. Just getting kind of a repeat here. But yeah, again, it's going to change because especially the Houston stuff, like Easton, I imagine is going to come up even more. Like that's not going to change. Like he'll just come up more. But Adams has to come in, I think, a little bit more here. And definitely Atlanta guys coming in more with no Trae Young. I think that would also be the case. Again, the sim with Trae Young and Şengün still in the data set. You're getting 73% Mo Gay. The fact he's minimum salary, he's not going to be able to fall out of lineups very easily here, especially if he does start. Keep in mind that's an 8 o'clock start time, so you need to really know about Mo Gay's status, heading in there, if you're going to get Mo Gay or not. Jokic at 70% of Stokastic's top 150, Fields at 27, so they are using that money for Mo Gay directly to pay up for Jokic. For Justin Champagnie, 63% exposure, Fields at 27. Big stand on him. He's producing 1 fantasy point per minute, and you are now going to get most likely him picking up the start for Keyshawn George. Jamal Murray, 59% exposure, Fields at 36. Jamal Murray a little bit too cheap at 8,500, given the guys that they have out for Denver, facing a pace-up option in Miami. And then Jalen Smith, 51% exposure, Fields at 26 for him. Do you think he'll come down a little bit because we'll have better value opening up with no Trae and no Şengün? But Jalen Smith is a power forward, which some of the value is not. So he might not come down as much as I would like. Your highest leverage plays. Getting Mo Gay 48% more in the field, not a surprise. Nikola Jokic 43% more in the field, not a surprise either. Justin Champagnie 35% more in the field. Jamal Murray 22% more in the field. Tari Eason 16% more, just ahead of Gillespie and McCollum. We're both 15% higher than the field's ownership. Cat, wow, they're fading Cat. I'm surprised by that. So that's probably going to get even more pronounced when they take Adams into the lineups here. But Towns negative 18% leverage, only 12% exposure. And Stokastic's top 150, and the field's at 30. Devin Booker negative 13% leverage, barely playing him. I agree with that. Only 6% exposure. Certainly he can go off against Washington, but projection's not really there. Royce O'Neal, negative 7% leverage. Bryce McGowan's not getting played very much, negative 7% leverage on him. And Jeremiah Fears, negative 6% leverage for him, only 5% exposure. Fields at 10. Okay. We'll do a single lineup sim, even though, again, the data's out of date, but I think we could still build one that's going to look okay, maybe look better with the updates that we get coming in, but still looks good now and sims well now. I think based on what we just saw with Mo Gay, I'm just going to pop him in at power forward. Not going to eat up a center spot. My data does love Diabate. We know the sim loves Jokic, so let's put Jokic in. We got Mo Gay, who we know the sim's going to like. Who would I put in at point guard? I mean, I think point guard might be different because it might be now with Trae Young out. Might be taking a shot on one of the Hawks guys. But I think for me, it is Jamal Murray still. So we're going to stack up our nuggies here with Murray and Jokic, which the field will be doing too. I think a good amount. And certainly those guys, do leverage against each other a little bit. But, they're missing too many guys now when you have Gordon out with Cam Johnson, with Christian Brown. Shooting guard for me, I think it would be Gillespie. I don't know if Stokastic's data is going to like Gillespie, but I'm going to put him in for now. Small forward for me, Dylan Brooks, Champagnie. I'll go Champagnie. We know the sim is going to support us on Justin Champagnie, the Wizard Champagnie, not Julian Champagnie, who is not as playable today. Guard spot. Well, actually, I guess it comes down to, can I fit Cat? I don't think I can. Don't think I could fit Cat and Jokic right now. Unless I come down off something. All right, let's put a guard in first. McCollum, I think, would be my choice at guard. Let's get a read on what the salaries are. I might have to come off Jokic here, which I can live with if I have Jamal Murray, because I think that inherently would be a bet against Jokic to some extent. Other forward spot, I think for me, it would be Dylan Brooks. So I am going to go Dylan Brooks here. And now we're probably going to have to come off Jokic. We'll go to Towns instead. Can I fit Towns and Diabate? I think I can. Leaving a little bit too much on the table here. $700 on the table. Jamal Murray, Colin Gillespie, Justin Champagnie, Mo Gay, Karl-Anthony Towns, CJ McCollum, Dylan Brooks, Moussa Diabate. Oz is better than Gay because he's only there for big body defense. Gay is not a 3-point. Okay, I think this is one of the things we're going to have to go into the data here. I know you're a Hawks fan, Georgia. Maybe based on the name, we could really drive that home. All right, so Mo Gay on the year, averaging 0.82 fantasy points per minute. Austin Newell at 0.93. So victory for Austin Newell there. Mo Gay averaging 55.1% true shooting. Austin Newell at 70.3. Right? No, 71.2. Vic Krejci's at 70.3. I mean, look, you can make the case that Mo Gay due to shoot a little bit better. Austin Newell due to shoot a little bit worse because 70% true shooting is not going to hold. Austin Newell's getting up 11 threes a game and 21 points per 100. Actually, not 11 threes a game. 11 threes per 100. You know what? We have the money. Let's see what Stokastic thinks of Newell here. I'll give you that one. But the big thing is, like, if you could afford Newell, pivoting to Newell's great. Mo Gay is still flat minimum salary, and he's likely going to be the starter. So that's the big thing. And Mo Gay has put up big fantasy days enough in the past. That's a positive ROI. So 16% ROI, it's going to look better later on. We got Jamal Murray, Colin Gillespie, Justin Champagnie, Austin Newell, Karl-Anthony Towns, CJ McCollum, Dylan Brooks, Moussa Diabate. So this lineup sims well now. I believe it's going to sim better when Stokastic updates for no Trae Young, because then Austin Newell's projection will get better. That's only the only hawk we played, though. And I didn't play Steven Adams here. Look, the lines are going to move around a lot, guys. We got a positive ROI. I'm going to take it and run to the bank with it. With all my EV. My EV and the puppy, too, that frittered away yesterday. My EV here. It's all going to do me all the money in the world. All the good in the world. I said money, and that was a Freudian slip. But guys, show some love here. I'm gonna give you guys my splash plays for the day here. I'm gonna try to account as well from having the guys out that we do. Before I do that, please do hit that like button. Please subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. Again, I'm just one guy showing you my journey here to be good at creating NBA data along with being good at gambling. And sometimes that works out well, sometimes it doesn't, but it's still a process here that I'm doing every day, Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. So show some love, hit that like button and subscribe. It goes a long way for me here and really any creator that you enjoy on YouTube. Check out Stokastic as well. Use that promo code SPLASH over there to get 15% off all the cheap packages, all the expensive packages. Very much important to this show to keep doing that as we head into 2026 because I don't know how we're performing right now. I don't have a dashboard that tells me how the numbers are looking, but I'm hoping still as good as they did before all their shit crashed. So please do join down below using that promo code SPLASH and do that. And last but not least, if you want to make this channel even more self-sustaining, join down below here, being a part of the live chat with $5, get into the Discord for $5, but also you want my projections updated throughout the night. Again, the Squirt Squad tier, probably good for a lot of you guys. The VIP tier, if you want to have exportable projections and you know what to do with them in a CSV, you can get that as well down below. All right, splash plays for the day. So I think Steven Adams is going to be one. I know he's a guy that always projects well in my data with Şengün out. Have to assume that's going to be the case again today. So I'm going to say he's one right now. I still like Kat and Jokic, though. I think trying to get those guys in is going to be a priority. I still like the Abate, too. I know that's 4 centers I've given you now, but all those guys I think look like particularly strong plays. The Hawks are going to look different. I think Gay / Newell. We've made the cases for and against, and I appreciate our guy George in the chat giving some feedback there. There's a case that's going to be made for both of them probably. My guess is that Gay starts, but Newell's going to have the higher usage coming off the bench and maybe can earn those minutes, can close that game out. But I think being mindful of whatever Hawks come up, you're going to want to play them. People might flock too much, no pun intended, to Dyson Daniels and Alexander Walker. But in a blowout kind of spot against a tough defense, the defense is going to be really hard on those guys. Okongwu, same thing. Who else? I mean, Jamal Murray, I'm still going to like no matter what. Gillespie, I'm going to like no matter what. Justin Champagnie, I'm going to like no matter what. Dylan Brooks, I'm going to like no matter what. That's going to be the core. So that's more than enough splash plays for the day. I do appreciate all you guys being here again this time of year, especially with the NFL NBA crossover winding down. Make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time here on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this channel on YouTube at SplashPlayBets. On Twitter at SplashPlayPod. You will see my NFL and NBA content. If you are playing NFL today, check out my video over on the at SplashPlayPod channel. Went through the showdown for today's slate today with the Rams-Falcons slate coming up. And I also will be on Stokastic's Live Before Lock for that at 7:15. So check that out too. But I appreciate you guys being here. Happy holidays, even though it is almost the new year. We'll keep doing the work as best we can throughout this new year period. But I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you members even more. And I'll see you guys again soon. Enjoy your days. Good luck. Bye-bye. And catch you tomorrow. All right. Bye.